as of November 1st, I lived in St. George for 6 months. So it was really a flight of fancy to think that I could get here and get the school opened in that 3 or 4 month period. So my plan was then to establish myself and get ready, and in the fall of 2008 I open it for sure. So it's just the fact that I've changed my plan and decided to go to California, where, as Mr. Dospook puts it, the other objectivists are busy doing real stuff while I'm screwing around on YouTube. There's a bit of a point there, because someday I'm not going to be on YouTube. I'm right now giving concepts away. I'm doing book reviews and stuff that I could be getting paid hundreds or thousands of dollars for if these were getting published in newspapers and magazines. And I'm putting them out there for free and asking you what you think. And I'm certainly getting a lot less reward than I would if I were getting published. But I got to start somewhere. You know, I'm never going to be able to write articles that get published in Time or Newsweek if I can't. Well, I'm never going to get published in those Marxist rags. But I'll never get published anywhere if I don't start by learning how to write and speak about subjects and things somewhere. So that's what I'm doing on YouTube. I'm learning and growing. What are you doing on YouTube? Screwing around? So, what's my legacy? I don't know. Give me another 30 years, dude. Now, there's a quote from Edith Hamilton. I did a whole video on The Greek Way by Edith Hamilton on this subject of the importance of history. Listen. Who is that? Persephone had brought the feather, and it was time for someone to throw it. So, and on page 18 of The Greek Way, this is the introduction of revised edition or whatever, expanded edition, where she adds a couple chapters. Page 18, there is no danger now that the world will not give the Greek genius full recognition. Greek achievement is a fact universally acknowledged. Is that true? Do you know about the Greeks? Do you know that their achievement outshone all of the cultures of ancient history, including the Romans? The Romans were like the smothering fire after the Greek bonanza and bonfire that came before. The Romans were like the dying coals, the dying embers. Do you know about that? Because she says there's no danger now the world will not give the Greek genius full recognition. Mr. Dospook, what am I fighting for? I'm trying to get people to know that, among lots and lots of other things that really should be common knowledge, that used to be taught to kids who were in 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th grade. That used to be elementary education, was to teach kids about Western civilization, which means the Greeks. And it's not done anymore. That's one of the worst bodings for our culture that I can imagine. It was obsession with Greeks that brought us out of the Dark Ages and gave us the Renaissance and science and freedom. It was obsession with the Greek ideals that the Founding Fathers based a constitution on. They were Aristotelians. That's what I'm there for. I'm on YouTube because someday I'm going to be somewhere else doing more, but this is what I'm doing now. This is what I can do. Now, it just so happens all my videos lined up to my very first one are still available. I don't know when YouTube will take them down or start taking them down, but they're all available. So it's like a historic depository. You can go watch me in my early videos, get on there and ramble about the school I'm going to open. I mean, I don't mean ramble. Meaningful stuff. And then you can watch the ideas change. At first it was going to be called Aristotle's Academy. Now it's Cropper Lyceum. And I've registered the name as Cropper Lyceum on the business license. But you can see the changes in what I'm doing. But the theme overall, what's the theme overall? Education. Changing this rotten, bankrupt, stupid culture. Getting people to know that there's something else out there besides nonsense and rambling and despair and self-esteem dropping every day. So geez, why am I out there? Because I'm not comfortable with the world. I don't think the world's good. I don't think it's okay right now. So if someone asked me, what if it wasn't education, what would you do? You know, they want to find a common theme. What's my goal? And I said the next best thing that would fall into my lap that would spread objectivism, that would spread the truths that Ayn Rand outlined in her philosophy. And again, I don't think that accepting someone else's truths is accepting their personal subjective truth. It's just accepting a truth. Like, I'm not a psychophant because I go around talking about evolution and gravity. You know, it's like I say, I believe in evolution. Zorio and Mr. Dospook and Randy Heltzerman are all going to be like, evolution? That's Darwin's idea. How are you going to latch on to his idea? You're a psychophant. Why are you just following him, you blind follower? Come up with your own explanation. Come up with your own explanation of the movement of the planets. Why do you have to follow the sun-centered solar system? Why do you have to follow other people's ideas? I mean, you see the absurdity of their position. So anyways, that's what I'm doing, is trying to prevent more people like you being formed in those disastrous public schools. I don't care if you went to private school, because it's all the same crap. And Zorio mocks that statement and says, I live in Canada, haha. Well, you know, you live in Western culture, haha. And he asks, are you just trying to gain a large following like Ayn Rand? Whatever. You know, I'm trying to make a career as an intellectual, as an educator. Where that takes me in the future, if I could sit in a cabin in Alaska for the 6 months of the summer, year that it's summer up there, and write books, I would do that. That'd be my ideal thing, to reach as many people as I could through books. Maybe someday I'll do that, but for now, the most important thing I can think to do is education, is to get some systems of education set up, or be part of setting them up and getting them going, to fix the disastrous meat grinder I went through. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. Maybe my worst enemy. He says, bit of a punch in the gut. He says, you seem quite common. You're not the founder of objectivism. You're a follower, and you probably have a workaday job. No, I'm not the founder of objectivism. Again, this harkens to the idea that why would you stand for this? Why would you fight for this? You're not. It's not your philosophy. Get your own philosophy. Why be a sycophant behind Rand? You know, it just doesn't occur to them there could be an objectively true idea. It's outside of their purview to begin with. He continues, oh, and I do have a workaday job, by the way. So, if I were to receive sufficient contributions to pay my bills, I would work less at my workaday job and more at the stuff that's expanding my intellect, like doing this outline of Benjamin Franklin, which he regards as meaningless rambling. I don't know, anybody who knows anything about Ben Franklin's life knows that Ben Franklin has more than one or two good things to say. I didn't anticipate this many videos for the Ben Franklin series, but they're all good videos. I've got them in a playlist. Listen to them sometime from beginning to end while you straighten your, room or whatever, clean your desk. Put the playlist on and listen to it. It's about an hour and a half or 2 hours, and it's going to be longer. A marathon on Ben Franklin's life. It's actually pretty good if you pay attention and listen. Some people just... A book on tape is meaningless rambling. Now, you can get Ben Franklin's autobio on tape. I think it's on LibriVox. But I'm editing it. I'm taking out chunks that don't have anything to do, little side notes that take a page and a half, things that are sometimes are interesting, sometimes not too interesting. I'm editing out things that he's addressed to his son, little cultural irrelevancies, and digesting it for you. Is that a service, or is that meaningless rambling? You decide, and that's why I have the contribute button on my website. You decide if what I'm doing is worth supporting or not. Someday I won't be on YouTube, and you'll have to, buy the magazine that I publish or you have to buy my book or whatever. Someday I won't be available to you for free, and you won't be asked to contribute voluntarily. You'll just have to buy my CDs. So that's what I say about that. He says, if I'm wrong and you actually have a